Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform anywhere. Reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a Galactico. Launched in 2013, this is the Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon 30-degree Technique Black. Grade 5 titanium covered in ADLC, or amorphous diamond-like carbon, hugely scratch-resistant, super light, and an award winner, as at the 2011 Concours de Chronometrie, scoring 915 points, the Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon 30-degree was the ultimate amongst some watches entered specifically as chronometry competition timepieces. This watch, as a production piece, won the competition overall against ringer movements tuned by Regular from elite brands. This timepiece then officially the most decorated in the history of the Concours de Chronometrie, 915 points, reclaiming the original purpose of the tourbillon, which was to achieve precision in operation. The watch is massive, but only in the voluminous sense. It doesn't weigh that much. The timepiece, 47.5 millimeters in diameter by 17.1 millimeters thick. It is, of course, 56.3 millimeters from lug to lug and 24 between the lugs. So I'm going to throw it on my wrist so you can see what all of that adds up to in terms of wrist fit. I'm going to move away and give you a little bit more perspective to see it on my wrist as it relates to the overall dimensions of my wrist. Because if I were super close to the camera, you'd probably think that it's just a diving bell. The watch is big, but I could wear it. You've got to be a bit of an extrovert to wear a watch like this. It's huge, it's stark, it's dramatically complicated, and in ways that are immediately visible from the dial side, meaning even if you've got a big wrist, it's still going to stand out. I can tell you that a 16-centimeter circumference wrist like mine could wear this watch. That said, I wouldn't go any smaller than this wrist size. Taking a look at the hardware and the software, Greubel Forsey certainly doesn't short you the leather. As you can see that the cut is thick, well bolstered. It's got a folded edge. It's large rectangular scale, black alligator leather. It's got a monotone stitch, and you can see it uses curved spring bars, so the lugs can be drilled somewhat inboard of their tips for a better fit, and yet the strap can move unimpeded by the case flank. That's what you get with the curved spring bar. Calfskin on the underside. You can see this is a brand new Greubel Forsey factory strap, and the watch includes a matching titanium satinated, or I should say media blasted and polished twin trigger double deploying clasp. So that twin trigger ensures that it cannot accidentally pop open, and you can see the text that is used voluminously on Greubel Forsey watches is even present within the clasp. The timepiece, of course, features a clasp design that somewhat echoes the design of the case, and you can see that the case itself is more complex than you might have suspected at first glance. You can see how the lugs are actually fixed in, but also that they're concave and mirror polished. The concave profile adds some elegance and nuance to what is otherwise a hulking carapace. Now, in profile, you can see there is an awful lot of text. What does all this mean? Well, en français, it is the production and finishing philosophy of Greubel Forsey. The technology, the fine finish, the savoir-faire, or the know-how, the bienfaiteur, or the quality of building a watch beautifully, all of that along with innovation, that is what you are getting en français. Now, the case also features a rather flat double-stepped bezel that's alternately satinated on its top and polished on its flanks, and you can see that contrast between the satin in the middle and then the inner and outer polished facets. The crown, Greubel Forsey logo, the dial, sapphire and open. So there's a sapphire track outboard, and we have these white gold indices and Arabic numeral 12. We also have white gold hands, the better to resist oxidation over time. We have not one but two tourbillon regulator. Now, the inner one is angled at 30 degrees because the average angle of a watch on the wrist, and this has been tested, is 30 degrees. So that is your first quiver arrow, I should say. And so the second quiver arrow, the second bullet in your chamber, to change the analogy, make it a bit more contemporary, is going to be the fact that there are two tourbillons. And because one is angled and one is not, there will be a pirouette, almost gyrating through many different angles with respect to gravity to even out the effect of gravity on the time-telling organ. Now, there's more going on. The outer tourbillon rotates once every 4 minutes, which is why you have this cruciform spoked sapphire indicator and a little scale of 60 seconds. Each one of these indices will pass across the arc every 60 seconds. The inner tourbillon makes a circuit every minute. Now, the inner tourbillon is adjusted in 6 positions. It is free-sprung for durability, and it uses an overcoil hairspring, which, because of centered mass, beats concentrically in any position. So that's why, when you add up all of these layered features, this watch is profoundly accurate, dead on, and a chronometry champion. You'll note the hands at center are polished white gold and loomed, so there will be a loom shot. You can also see that there is a power reserve indicator that is just underneath the hour hand, and it is a quadruple stacked barrel manual wind 120-hour power reserve, or 5 days. And you can see as I wind the watch, that power reserve indicator traverses its path. Now, if you want a conventional 60-second scale, you have a scrolling center second type display with a hand at the center rather than at the periphery right underneath the barrels. And again, 4 barrels stacked together, and they are fast barrels. That helps to reduce the variations in torque to the escapement by having fast moving barrels. Now, everything is finished to the highest degree. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 interior angles at the center of the upper bridge, the tourbillon. 5, 6, 7, 8 at the edge. The edge is mirrored in its rounded gentian wood finished ungulage, and you can see it lighting up right here from this angle. The top of the bridge is black polished, as you can see. Poly noir, it reflects light only in one direction. From every other angle, black polish. You can see the same is true of every screw on this side of the watch. All of the bridges have immaculate beveling. There are many interior angles, including within the wheels where finished inner circumference and spokes meet. So you have interior angles inside every wheel satinated on its top and bottom, and then beveled internally. You also have that golden chaton fixing the pivot of the tourbillon, and you have that on both sides, another nod to the pocket watch era. You have more golden chaton pressed into the bridges on the reverse side, and you can see the bridges have been frosted, I believe with a wire brush. That's their technique. And then you can see there are also fired blue screws and a screw-fixed gold medallion, indicating this one is number 25. It is truly overwhelming. The quality of the finish, the technical innovation, and the virtuosity of the assembly and regulation. A rare tourbillon regulator that is everything you imagine a tourbillon would be, and lives up to what Abraham Louis Breguet envisioned a tourbillon would be, a refinement that adds to chronometric qualities. All of this 30 meters water resistant, so please do not take it swimming, but for all other times, a surprisingly practical watch that does what a watch is supposed to do. Reach out to Team Also at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Greubel by night. You can see it is loomed.